Alrighty guys, Azek here, bringing us another Dragon Ball Legends video. So this one's going to be a little bit more of a guide video, more directed towards beginners, right? I might be making this a series into the best free-to-play teams, and I'm going to build you a complete free-to-play team for a specific tag. I think the easiest one to start off with right now is going to be Saiyans, right? So as you do know, Saiyans, they're going to be universally used, right? There's always going to be a new Saiyan unit. There's always going to be like free-to-play Saiyans and stuff like that. There's a ton of free-to-play Saiyans in the game as we speak. And so the first one that I want to go ahead and talk about is going to be the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, right? So he's technically a free-to-play. Just because of the fact that we have the start dash missions, right? We can go ahead and see them right here. We have in the special tab, when you click on missions, you got right start dash missions Saiyan, start dash missions Lineage of Evil, start dash missions sagas from the movies. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Saiyans ones first, right? So you unlock these by using start dash medals. And you click on this, you can get them from the rare metal shop, and you can also get them from an event. You can see I already bought them all right here. So it'll take you straight to the rare metal shop, and then, you know, if you don't want to spend one right there, you can actually go ahead and open up the events tab, go into the special tab, click on this Let's Go Legends, and the very first stage is going to grant you one for free, right? Without having to spend any sort of rare metals at all. So going back to the missions, you can get a total of 3,000 Z power, I believe it is, for all of the sparking units. I'm not too sure if it's the same thing for, I think for the EX units it's not the same, but the EX units are kind of irrelevant right here, right? But for the sparking units, you got this Feku, right? You got this Feku, this blue Feku, he's like the Blue Saiyan Saga Goku and stuff like that. And then you have this Bardock as well, Transforming Red Bardock. And then the main unit that I want to talk about is, of course, the Super Saiyan 3 right here, right? So in case you guys didn't know, 3,000 Z power actually equates to 7 stars, and once you get to 7 stars, you can start stepping into a Zenkai territory. Now the good thing about this is that you can actually get Zenkai levels through the USTR shop, so let's go ahead and look at that. So when you go into the events and you go into the recommended, all the way at the bottom of the recommended, every single time it's going to be the Zenkai Ultra Space Time Rush shop. So it might take you guys a little while to actually start like getting through this consistently, right? Because it actually can be very difficult. You're gonna have to start choosing the AI and stuff. You're going to need like good parties. You're going to need a lot of characters overall. But once you guys can actually get through the Zenkai Rush shop, there is an exchange shop that's linked to it as well, in which you'll get some sort of premium coins just for completing it, right? You can see in the top right hand corner I have 0 of the premium coins, but I have some of the other currency, and this is where you can start getting all of these Zenkai powers, the Awakening Z power. And amongst these units right here, it is that Super Saiyan 3 Goku that I was just talking about, right? So this is someone that you definitely want to invest in. I think the one con about this is that if you are truly just starting out and you're like a fresh account and you're starting this man from like just absolute scratch, then it's probably going to take about 2 months to finish the Zenkai, unfortunately, because these reset every 2 weeks, I believe it is, and you can only purchase 1,500 of their Z power at a time, right? So that's going to take you a little bit. Another thing to note about the Start Dash missions is that you have 3 separate teams, and each of them have a designated Zenkai character. So we went over Saiyans, how Super Saiyan 3 Goku is basically the character that can be Zenkai for free through the USTR shop. Lineage of Evil has Final Form Cooler, who can be Zenkai for free through the USTR shop. And then you also have Start Dash Mission Sagas from the movies, who has DBS Purple Broly, who can be Zenkai, but the kicker for this one is, the reason why I don't really recommend this one too much, well, I mean, obviously you can get all 3 of them eventually for free anyways, but the Broly, the DBS Broly, his Zenkai is not available in the USTR shop as of recording at the very least, right? Eventually, I do believe he's going to be added in there. Alright, so amongst the other characters, right, so you have the Red Transforming Bardock, who's going to act as your temporary red while you're building up your team and stuff like that. And honestly, this guy isn't too bad. Like I said before, you're going to be getting 3,000 Z power from him, so you'll immediately have him at 7 stars, right? And his abilities, they're kind of lackluster and stuff like that. He only buffs one thing, which is 32% to tag Saiyan's base strike attack. I mean, he gets an extra 15% for Team Bardock base strike attack, which is good for himself, but not really for the rest of your team and stuff like that, right? He also has a transforming mechanic where after he transforms into the traitorous warrior, restores his own health by 30% and gets 50% to damage inflicted. But there's a pretty big restriction on this, and it's in the form of his first unique ability right here. So until one of the following conditions is met, your main ability will be sealed from battle start. So the only way to unlock it is if one ally is defeated or 50 timer counts have elapsed, right? And you know, you do get some good stuff from this, right? So you get 50% to strike damage inflicted, reduced damage received. You can also inflict no switching when you transform and stuff like that. You also have a cover change on blast cards, which honestly isn't bad at all. I would say if he had like updated stats and a little bit less restrictive transforming condition, he would actually be really, really viable. So this will be your temporary red. Alright, now you also have this blue Saiyan Saga Goku, right, from when he fights Raditz, otherwise known, I know a lot of people call him Feku. So this unit basically acts as your support unit, right? It does say he's a support type. One of the most important abilities that he has, in my own opinion, is the fact that he can go ahead and make you draw a new card, right? So the following effects occur when this character is switched to standby. He randomly draws one new card when you have 3 or fewer cards, and he also gives you 10% to damage inflicted by allies cannot be cancelled up to 40%. So he'll give you permanent damage buffs over time as long as you're swapping him in and out. Not only that, but he has support in his main ability as well. He draws the ultimate arts card, Bend the Kamehameha, and it does 20% to damage inflicted by allies for 20 timer counts. So you're getting even more support there. The Z ability is good, 30% to Saiyan or episode Saiyan Saga base strike attack and defense. And another important thing about the ultimate is that when it does hit, it restores your ally health by 20%, as well as restoring your own ki. But it has to hit. Alright, so one of the things that I really like about that blue Feku is the fact that he synergizes so well with the Super Saiyan 3 Goku once you guys do get him fully Zenkai'd, getting all of his unique abilities unlocked, right? Mainly the last unique right here, because if he's being ran on a party with other Saiyan battle members, he's going to draw a strike card on entry as well as getting a damage cut by 25%. So we already talked about the Feku. He's going to give you a card if you put him on standby while you have 3 or fewer cards. So say you only have 2 cards when you put him on standby, then you're going to draw the strike card guaranteed by this unique ability, and you're going to get a strike card, or you're going to get a random card guaranteed by that Feku, right? So you're going to be getting all that. But you might be asking yourself, well, what about ki? Well, this guy, he stores ki by 50 upon entry as well. That's why they have that really, really, really nice synergy, right? This is why this guy is basically dubbed as the Rectangle Man by Ryuden, right? Because, you know, he comes in, he draws cards, you click the shiny rectangles, and you basically prosper. Now, if you want to start immediately replacing that Feku, you can replace him with this guy, I suppose, and start doing the Zenkai Blue Spirit Bomb Goku grind. I don't think his Z ability is that great. It's only 25% to tag Saiyan base strike defense, whereas where you had the Feku, who was doing a 30% buff at 7 stars, right, to base strike and defense, or base strike attack and defense. But if you do want to go ahead and start doing this grind right here, you can actually go through the events category, go into the recommended tab, and do this event right here, this Fierce Fight, the Legend of Goku, right? So you're going to be getting Z power through all these missions right here. I can pull it up on DBZ Space. So we have the event pulled up right here. These are the missions. If we go scroll all the way down to the bottom, once you do get through all of these, you're going to be getting Z power for all of these free-to-play Gokus as well, which are just nice to have in the box overall, right? But at the very end, you're going to get all these Zenkai missions for him, and you're going to freely get him up to Zenkai 7, not only through those, but through the event itself. When you're going through it, it's at every Awakening battle right here. You can see 500 Z power or Awakening Z power for him right there, and right here as well. Now, going back to the game, if you're actually curious on how to actually get this unit, you're going to have to spend rare metals, right? So rare metals can be found in the exchange shop through the rare metal exchange shop tab right here, and you can go ahead and pull it from right here. As you can tell, I already have the maximum amount, so I can't really pull any more. And if you're curious on how to actually get rare metals, then you can acquire them by summoning duplicate copies of units that are already maxed out, getting ranked rewards through TOP and PvP, or by various missions/challenges, right? So that may be a little bit more than you can chew, plus you have to consider that you have to get them at a minimum of 7 stars, so 3,000 Z power. So you might want to stick with Feku for a little bit, because it's going to be resource heavy, right? Because not only that, but you're going to have to get Zenkai souls and all that stuff. Alright, for the next units that I'm going to talk about are going to be the free-to-play Ultra units. So of course, we have this free-to-play Ultra Goku, and then you also have this free-to-play Ultra Vegeta. Both of their events are currently on right now. We'll go into that a little bit later. Now, Ultra Vegeta, he's a little bit iffy, right? Because due to the nature of his kit, of his whole build, his Ultra ability surrounds Frieza Saga, right? And the fact that you'll be running Super Saiyan 3 Zenkai Goku over this guy anyways, he's probably going to be your designated purple in the long run, but he could still be the filler unit until then, right? Until you get that Super Saiyan 3 Goku to Zenkai level 7, this guy can definitely be your designated go-to purple unit. As for this Goku, he is going to be a phenomenal upgrade to your Saiyans team, right? I see people run this guy to this day, and especially for a beginner, it's going to be a huge buff for your Saiyans team. He immediately is going to replace your red Transforming Bardock, especially, I think the one thing that you guys have to consider is that when he's using his unique equipment, he's absolutely going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think the Platinum equipment is definitely going to be a must, and if you are wondering where to get the Ultra equipment for both of the units, both of them can be found in the event category, in the special tab, in the Ultra Goku and Vegeta events respectively. So we go right here, we go into the special tab, and both of them will be towards the bottom right here. So for example, I can go into the Goku events, and once you have it all finished out, there's not a lot of stages, it's going to be these last 3 stages right here. So this top stage, this is where you can actually farm the Z power for the unit, and this is where you can actually farm the souls for the unit, and then this stage right here is where you get the equipment. The equipment is absolutely phenomenal, and the same thing can be found right over with Vegeta as well. These events are, I don't know how long they're going to be on for, but they're going to be on for a long time. So once again, this top stage, you're going to be able to get the Z power for Vegeta, and at this bottom stage, you're going to be able to get his respective platinum equip as well. I think these are needed equipment for these characters. Now, once you build up Super Saiyan 3 Goku to his max Zenkai level, I would maybe suggest kicking off Ultra Vegeta and replacing him with an HP buffer. HP is really important in PvP because that's your max HP and stuff like that. That's basically like your tankiness, right? If you're playing an MMO, you're probably going to start putting stuff into Constitution because you don't want to just die instantly, right? You have to get a healthy balance of like just tankiness and defensiveness, right? And so HP is a huge important part of that, and the perfect candidate for this role right here is going to be this EX Raditz. So you can actually look at his Z ability, and it gives you 18% to tag Saiyan max base health during battle. Now, the way to actually get this guy is, once again, his events is always going to be up. You go right back into events, you're going to go into the original series tab, and it's going to be this event right here, Raditz Attack. So not only are you going to be able to get Z power from him, but you also get Awakened Z power through this event and through the missions that he provides, as well as getting some CC. I think it's also important to note that you don't even really need to get him Zenkai. There is a Zenkai stage right here that you can do daily. I suggest just doing this, not really just pouring all your energy into this at once, because you don't even really need to Zenkai him. You just mainly want him for that Z ability. And if you really don't want to do that, you can go ahead and use Shallot, right? He has a similar Z ability. He has 15% to tag Saiyan max base health at 6 stars, and the way to get Shallot is through the story mode. To get him all the way to 6 stars might take a little bit, especially if you haven't touched story mode at all. And overall, when you're comparing them 14 stars to 14 stars, Raditz still has an extra 2% into that max base health, so overall he has the better Z ability. For your yellow unit, there are really only 2 good options that are going to be viable. So the first unit is definitely going to be Zenkai 7 Legends Road Kid Goku. This guy right here, man, he used to be absolutely amazing. He was on top of the world for just such a long time. And you know, I honestly think he's still usable. He's aged drastically. He's definitely not as good as he once was, but he's definitely still usable, right? He's still a completely free to play Zenkai character. He has endurance, he has an ultimate, he has card draw speed. He used to be the OG jack of all trades, and he's fairly easy to get. So once again, we're hopping into the events, going to the special tab, and it's right here under the Legends Road Goku Youth event. Fairly easy. You can get a daily stage right here, and you can farm up his souls, his Z power, and his Awakened Z power, right? So again, another one of those events that is fairly easy to get through just to get a solid unit for your Saiyans team. Now, one thing that I do hear a lot of people say is that this guy might hurt your team just because of the fact that his Z ability does not actually buff Saiyans. If you look at it and take a closer look right here, his Z ability only buffs Dragon Ball Saga or Legends Road, and it's a good buff too. It's 35% to base strike and blast defense for both of those tags, but none of them being Saiyans, right? So he's only going to be buffing himself, which is pretty greedy. And even when I click on him right here, you can see that he is not giving that buff to these other units right here, to the Ultra Vegeta or the Ultra Goku. But at that point, if you are willing to run him every single game, right, just because you want to use a yellow unit, or because you want to have an endurance unit or anything like that, then you might want to consider running him in this leader slot right here, where I have him, right? Because the leader slot, the way that this works is that no matter what unit you put right here, his Z ability is going to be distributed across the entire team, your entire team, and the Z ability, he'll receive everyone's buff on here as well, as long as he's in that leader slot, right? Only if you bring him in, right? If you don't bring him into the field, you're not going to be getting that leader slot bonus, right? But if he's right here, he's going to be buffing that Ultra Goku and that Ultra Vegeta, even if they are not on the Dragon Ball Saga tag or the Legends Road tag. Now, speaking of leader slots, right? If you want to run a yellow unit every game, and you're just dedicated to running a yellow unit every game, then I would consider using free-to-play Goku Black Rose. So you can slap him right here on the leader slot, similar to what we did with the Kid Goku, and he will be doing the same thing essentially, right? Giving buffs to everyone on the team, even though his Z ability is strictly for future units, I believe it is, right? For future and powerful opponents, right? You can freely get this guy to 14 stars right now, and so if you do get him to 14 stars, that'll be 28% plus an 28% to base strike, attack, and defense, and an extra 18% to a base blast defense, right? For all of your members, no matter even if they don't fulfill that criteria, as long as he's in the leader slot, as long as he's being ran every single game. And his kit is absolutely phenomenal. He's one of the newer free-to-play units, and I think he really is a high skill ceiling base type character that can carry you in a lot of games, given you playing him, or given the playstyle that you apply to him, right? And now the way to get him is, once again, we go through the events and stuff like that. He's going to be in the recommended tab, I do believe, right here against this Fierce Fight Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black. There's a daily stage for this over here where you can start farming these medals. You're going to be getting medals throughout the stages. You go to the exchange shop and you're going to get some Z power from here, and you'll also get some Z power from the respective missions tied to this event. Lastly, we have the green unit, right? And I'm gonna be real honest, there's only one free-to-play green Saiyan that's actually good, and it's going to have to be this movie Green Broly. Well, I wouldn't say just good. I mean, there's this free-to-play Goku that you can get into the event from the Fierce Fight Legend of Goku that we mentioned earlier and stuff like that. But his Z ability is really, really bad. I mean, unless you want to run him on the leader slot and stuff like that. But other than that, he's a very, very mediocre unit overall. But this guy right here, once you guys do get him to Zenkai 7, he actually is going to be extremely good. He's a very, very beefy unit. His damage is going to be very, very lackluster without having Bardock buffs and stuff like that. But I think he's still solid, right? So the way to get him is going through the Go For It intermediate challenges. And we can go ahead and pull that up right here. So we go through here. You have all of these missions, right? And once you complete all of them, not only will you retrieve 3,000 Z power for that green Broly right here, right? We can see 500 right here, 500 right here. You'll also get 3,000 Z power for this purple Saiyan Saga Vegeta, and for this red Super Saiyan Goku. That I think one of literally the first Super Saiyan Goku that ever came out, which do have the ability to be Zenkai Awakened through the USTR shop for no CC at all. And then on top of that, you also get 3k Z power for the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Goku, who is in a phenomenal free-to-play unit. He's literally an S-tier unit, so that's someone that you can invest in if you want to use him as the leader slot and put him as your blue unit. If you want to start building a free-to-play God Key team in the future as well, you definitely have to go through all of these missions right here, right? The only issue with this is that, once again, you'll have to rely on the Zenkai USTR shop. So if you can't finish it, that's going to be an issue in itself, right? And on top of that, it's going to take you a while. Even if you do finish all 3 stages of the USTR and get all the available premium currency, it's still going to take you a while to get through all this, because now not only do you have to get this guy to Zenkai 7, but you also want to go ahead and get that Broly to Zenkai 7 as well. But if you're not looking to do all that, definitely go ahead and just slap this guy on there once you do get him. Like I said, if you're going to be doing the Fierce Fight Legend of Goku event, you'll be able to get him fairly easily as well. I don't think he's a great unit, but he does get some Saiyan buffs at the very least, right? He gets an additional 30% to damage inflicted when a tag Saiyan other than this character is a battle member. So all in all, this is what my free-to-play Saiyan team would look like. But I would surely replace the Ultra Vegeta with Super Saiyan 3 once he is Z7. Same with this guy as well, because I do not have the Broly at Z7 either. And the biggest takeaway from this is that as you get better units, you will slowly but surely start replacing the others, right? If you get a better green unit here, you're going to want to replace that Goku. Same with your blue, same with your yellow, all that good stuff. But, you know, stick around for tomorrow's video. I will be using this team in PvP, seeing exactly what we can do with it. Another important thing is that the only equipments that I have right now, before I actually hop into PvP or anything like that, is these platinum equips. Like I said, I think those platinum equips are absolutely important for each of these characters right here. They're going to help them out a ton. But overall, I think we could actually do something decent with this team. I might consider switching out the Spirit Bomb Goku. I'm not too sure. we'll actually go ahead and wait and see. But for a free-to-play team, this doesn't look terrible to me, right? And with the leader skill, I have confidence that the Super Saiyan Rose will do just fine. All right, so that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, as always, make sure you guys leave a like, a comment, maybe even consider hitting that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later!